Hi guys, this is Arif from TechShare. Today I am going to explain the Sitecore Commerce pipeline. So what I am going to do today is I'm going to extend one of the pipelines of Sitecore Commerce. So let me explain first what is pipeline in Sitecore Commerce. So if we see the Sitecore Commerce, if you install already the Sitecore Commerce, then you would have already got the proper knowledge of Sitecore Commerce, and you would know that Sitecore Commerce basically has this kind of thing. So if you see here, then this file, so this is part of your, so if you go here, your Sitecore, so yeah, this solution, this customer sample solution that is going to provide by Sitecore. If you open the Sitecore installer, then you will find this solution as well. So here in this solution, you will see there is a log file. So if you open the log folder, then there is the node configuration file. So let me jump into that. So if you open, so every time when you start the application, then it will create two files. One is the log file, another one is the node configuration file. And in the node configuration file, it will give you all the details about your different pipelines that is going to use by the application. So some of the very common, or you can say basic pipelines that we really need to understand is, for example, I get cart pipeline. So I get cart pipeline here. So you can see here by default I get cart pipeline doesn't have much. So it has couple of blocks. So the first one is get cart block. So obviously it will get the cart maybe from the database, and then it will calculate the cart lines and calculate cart block. Basically it will calculate each of the lines, and then it will calculate the sum and subtotal and everything. And finally it will also set some data, cart contact block. I don't know what is there, but yeah, so basically you can see it has only 3 blocks. So now ideally when we are going to implement a real application, e-commerce application, then this 3 is not kind of sufficient, because those 3 are out of the box provided by the Sitecore. And obviously you are going to implement a lot of other different blocks as necessary based on your e-commerce journey, or you can say requirements. So now what I'm gonna show you guys quickly today is to create a custom block and register that block under that get cart pipeline, and that's way we can have our own kind of execution point, or you can say extension point, and then we can add some feature to the existing card, and later on we can use that one in some other places as well. So let me do this quickly. So in this application, I can actually straight away run the application. So let me run the application first. So I am running the application. Just hold on a second. Then the application is running. We'll see here, and it will tell you which endpoint it's using right now. And again, it is using the different environment files. Maybe I'll explain the environment and policy and everything in the next video, but let me just extend the pipeline today. So here you will see this is the endpoint it has. So let me go here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to access the get cart pipeline through this endpoint here. This is the commerce endpoint, so I'm using localhost 5000, and if I now hit this send button, then if it works perfectly fine. Okay, something is not working, it says. So that means, let me see, copy. Okay, so token. So I just need the token. So for that, let me grab the token here, and then again execute this one. Then you can see the data for this card 001, right? So this card, it will get all the data for that card here, part of get cart pipeline. So what we want is we need some extra data here. So this card, obviously it has some standard data, or you can see schema, but as necessary we we might need to have some kind of extension of this data, and that is only possible through some extension point that is provided by the Sitecore. So one of the extension point is component. So component means this, you can see here, this is a collection, right? So it has some components. So we can add a new component, for example, and through that we can push some data, or you can say we can add some new feature, or you can say new behavior to the cart, and later on we can use that component and take some decision, or you can say apply some sort of rules based on that. I think better to explain through the code. So let me stop this one, and then what I'll do is I'll create what I'll do is here I'm gonna create a block in here. So after get cut block, before the calculate block, what I'll do, I'll try to add our new custom component, and I'll try to add some data there. So for that, let me create a block, and let me call that block as add customer, or you can say card information block. Okay, now before that, you will see the block has some sort of signature, so we are gonna follow from here. So do this. So pipeline display name, and in the pipeline display name we can use a unique display name. So for now I'm gonna hard code it here that I'm gonna use the same name, for example, and then here it also uses this pipeline block, then I'll use that on here. Now very importantly, this signature, right? So this pipeline block has string and commerce pipeline execution context. So this string has some problem, because if you see here, we need to understand the signature first. So here you can see the get cart pipeline deals with something called cart. Okay, so it has some input parameter called resolve cart arguments, and it actually returns something called cart. And if you see the cart block here and also here the block, so for example this block inputs as a cart, output also as a cart. So our intention would be, since we are going to execute our block after this line, so what the block basically works is, every block returns something, and that is kind of the input of the next block. So for example this block returns a cart, and obviously this block should input the cart. So this cart would be as input arguments of this block, and when for example this one returns another cart, and that should be this this block's input. So for example if we want to add a block here, then this get cart block already returns cart, so our block should input that cart. So what I'm gonna do is I'll copy this one here, and so this would be my input, and obviously my output would be the same thing. So I'm gonna do this one, and then here implement abstract class, and then here what we are gonna do is let me do async here. Okay, now this is my card. So simply what we will do is we'll say because this is just for the sake of example, so what I'll do is I'll say card dot add component. Actually get component should be fine. So the get component means if the component is exist, then it will simply give you that component, otherwise it will create a component and return to you. So for example what we will do is var my information component. equal to card.get component, we need to pass a type. So in order to create a component, the ideal approach is to create a folder here, and we say components, and then here what I'll do, I'll create a class, say information component, card information component, for example, and we need to extend this one from the component, and it will be a public class, and this component is Sitecore Commerce core, and here we can pass anything. So for example, we can say public string, maybe name, whatever, and then we will say public string information. Okay, that's all. Actually name is already there, because the name is inside the component. If you extend, then you will see the name is also part of that, so we need to use maybe other thing, maybe card ID, for example. Okay, so now what I am gonna do is, here we'll say card information component, here like this. So this card information component is our component, and we then say component my information component dot card ID equal to card dot ID, and then we can say my information component dot information equal to, this is a sample information. Okay, and then we'll say return card. We can say task dot from result, that would be appropriate, and we'll say await. Okay, so now our card has been created here, sorry, the block has been created here, and then we are actually getting the component, this component from the card, and card will actually add the component by itself, and we are returning that card simply here. So I'm gonna put a breakpoint here, but that's not all. We need to tell Sitecore Commerce that, hey, this is my block, and this block should be added after or before this block in this pipeline. So the easiest way is to go to your configuration, configure Sitecore, and here what we'll do, we'll say configure. So when to use configure pipeline and when to use add pipeline, because configure pipeline is when the pipeline already exists to the system Sitecore Commerce, and you are going to modify something, add something, remove something, or replace something, then we will use configure pipeline. So what we are going to configure here is I get cut pipeline, I get cut pipeline, right? So I get cut pipeline, let me use the Sitecore Commerce code, yeah, and then here we'll say configure pipeline, and then we'll say see the same thing we'll use here. So we'll say until this point here. Okay, and now here we'll say add my block. My block is add card information block. So let me use this one after. So we are going to use after get card block. So what we're telling is, hey, my block add card information block, I need this to be added in I get card pipeline after this block. So now refresh this one, and let me build it quickly, and if there is no error, then we are gonna run this one. And then when we run, then the first thing we need to check is to see the node configuration file is properly registered or not. So if we see the block is already perfectly registered to the node configuration, then we are okay, we are done. If not, then we need to further investigate why not. So now you can see the build is successful, and I'll actually put a breakpoint here, and then I'll say run. Okay, it will be running here. You can see here it will executing this one, then F5. Now when it says that the application successfully runs here, then what we'll do is we'll go to the log folder here, and we'll take the very latest node configuration file, this one, and then we'll open this one, and then we'll jump into the iGetCart pipeline. iGetCart pipeline here, and interestingly you will see our block has been registered successfully in the same exact place that we wanted. So you'll see here, this is the existing one, and we tell that okay, add my block after this one. So you'll see here this is there, and then what I'll do is, since the application is running already, I'm gonna add a breakpoint here in this run. This is already there, and then I'll hit the getCart pipeline, and this will trigger the getCart, and I'm expecting a call here. So you can see here successfully I can see the call, and the cart object is already passed here as a input parameter, because the earlier block, basically this block has returned me that cart to me, and that cart, what I'll extract the component from the cart. So initially there won't be any component, obviously, then it will actually give you the empty cart and then some information, and I'll simply return that cart. Interestingly, if you open the cart object, then you will see the existing component it has in the component list. Where is the component? Here, and you will see here card information component already exists in the third line, and this is my data that I have just added. So you will see everything is simply returning by the card. Now I run this application, I let it run, and here what I wanted to validate is that little information is appearing or not. You will see here the information is appeared successfully under the component list. So this component, you will see here I have this this card information component, and this is my card ID that I have passed, and also the information that I have provided there. So now what would be the next thing, right? So when you have this data, then based on this behavior, where we are going to, maybe we're trying to calculate something, we're trying to understand some feature or something based on some behavior, then we'll check this component, and based on this component we'll do further thing, because the particular information that I needed is already been added in my card based on some scenarios. Maybe that was fulfilled based on the business logic that we have. Maybe a very simple example would be, for example, if a user want to buy 4 lines, and then maybe a feature would be to give them 20% discount or 20 taka discount or $20 discount, whatever. And then what we can do easily is, we can calculate the lines, and based on the business logic that we are having, we can actually add a separate component in the card saying that, hey, this particular card has fulfilled the requirements to give user a discount or something. And based on this information, when we are going to calculate the total amount, we can customize that, hey, does the card have this particular component? If it has, then we can actually straight away give the discounted amount and adjust the discounted amount to the total or something like this. So yeah, so that is the thing I wanted to discuss today. I think it's quite clear now for you guys, but if you not, then just let me know through the comments. I will explain. Today I actually extended the component, the pipeline through a block. Next day I will explain the different things in commerce, and hopefully you will know everything in details for Sitecore Commerce. See you very soon in the next video. If you did not subscribe my channel yet, please, I will request subscribe my channel and press the bell button as well, so that you will not miss any of my videos if I release. So see you soon, very soon. Bye bye.